Start over. Cut. One more chance for a camp out in 2024. Lisa and I decided to escape the rain of Western Washington, headed over to Eastern Washington to camp out in the snow. It was my first excursion into the high ridges of central Washington. It was an opportunity for me to take a trip with Lisa and show her a little more of what overlanding for me looks like. It would also be my first trip overlanding in the snow. I was a little trepidatious to say the least, but was also eager for a new adventure. This trail did not disappoint. It offered some fairly mild obstacles, but the snow definitely added some degree of difficulty. The van's all-wheel drive definitely shines in situations like this. It was getting darker by the minute, and we had ground to cover. The scenery was beautiful and fairly easy travel as we made our way up into the foothills. You can almost see it here as the van loses traction and starts to slide toward the inside of the curve. It was at this point in the trail where I'd watched some Jeeps fail to negotiate the corner and very nearly hit the tree. They had to turn around. I thought we would meet the same fate, but the van fought its way around the corner and headed on up to see what the rest of the trail had to offer. When we got up on top, the wind picked up and the blowing snow made visibility difficult. We had just about given up hope on finding a spot when suddenly a wide spot appeared.
All right, so kind of did a thing. Part of this trip is our inaugural trip of using the new build out. Remember those days like 2 months ago when we used to have to schlep everything out of the van so we had a place to sleep? We're not doing that no more. Now we have a bed. Believe it or not, there is enough room up there to sleep. Now, when we pull into camp and I want to cook, all I gotta do is this. Gonna move you over here so you can see. This is my box of recovery gear. It's plenty big. Propane tank. Start cooking.
I should have brought hot
Chocolate would have been a fabulous idea.
Too late for coffee, but you know.
Right. Hot cider with some rum. Yeah, I was thinking this might have needed to be aluminum.
Here, see that?
Now, this is a prototype. The idea is this is never intended to be forever because I made it out of wood.
And I fat-fingered the record button and didn't realize it. Thought I was recording the whole walkthrough and didn't realize I had missed it until weeks later when I was reviewing footage. So, we will pick up with the meal preparation already underway. You were saying?
I'm blue, babu dee babu die, babu dee babu die. Nice blue lights.
Yeah.
It's like the blue plate special.
I didn't intend to get blue lights. I didn't read the listing well enough.
There you go.
So this would be the part of the video where we're kind of sitting around the campfire talking about the day, recapping the day, so to speak.
And we are. We're sitting around the buddy heater.
The buddy heater.
See, there's the fire.
There's the fire.
And here we are.
It's 27 degrees outside, and the wind is howling. We're up on top of.
Starts with a Q. Mm-hmm. And we're way up on top.
3,600 feet. We dropped down a little bit now. We're about 3,000 feet. And it's December 26th.
And it's freaking freezing.
And it's freaking freezing outside. We were outside long enough to cook and eat dinner, clean up, and then the coolest thing, it just all pushes back into the van.
It is really cool. like the setup and the takedown was nothing.
Oh yeah, so much better. But
we didn't intend to have to spend this much time indoors.
Right. And so there's not a whole lot of seating in here because we have firewood down here.
But it's too cold to have a fire.
And yeah, too cold to have a fire.
It's too cold to have a fire outside.
I mean, we could build a fire, but
it's so cold that you wouldn't get any benefit from it.
You wouldn't want to sit around it because you'd freeze. One side of you would be warmed by the fire, the other side would be frozen.
Yeah.
Literally, when I picked up, I had set the tripod out there, and literally when I picked up the tripod, it had 1/8 of an inch of ice that had already accumulated on one side of it. So
this is like a mobile igloo.
Yeah. So we're nice and cozy in here. Mm-hmm. Sitting around talking and like we normally would, and yeah, just hanging out.
I'm having fun.
Staying warm. That's the name of the game. Staying warm. And before you ask, yes, we have windows cracked because we're running the buddy heater, so we need to make sure we have some air coming in here. So hopefully we'll see you in the morning. I wonder if this will pick up that wind.
And then came the true test of the east-west bed. I realized quickly it was cramped, and my shoulders started to hurt, so I rolled onto my back. Two things happened simultaneously. I woke up with the ceiling seemingly in my face, and the -32 sleeping bag, way too big for the bed, wrapped itself around my legs, making me feel even more trapped. Panic set in like I've never felt before. Okay, TMI moment. I don't usually sleep in clothing, so I tried peeling off clothes and trying again, but immediately felt that panic return. Clearly this bed would not work for me, so I woke up Lisa and we decided to head back into town to get a hotel for the night. The trip back down the hill was nothing if not exciting. Wind-blown snow blinding in the headlights at times. Thankful for Gaia keeping us on the road. We also had to go back down the slippery and treacherous roads we'd come up, with visibility being an even bigger challenge. But we took our time and made it down safely. Got to the hotel room around midnight and crawled into a nice comfy bed with lots of space to sprawl.
We woke up this morning. We actually stayed at a hotel down in town because there was no sleeping in that bed last night. Woke up this morning and decided we weren't done with this trail. It was so much fun to come up here and drive it. We want to see how it ends. So we drove back up here. Much better weather today than there was yesterday. You can actually see for miles.
Yeah.
And little did we know, a windmill farm right in our backyard where we were sleeping. We went to bed here last night, woke up and drove into town when we realized we couldn't sleep in that bed. So, but that's what we had in our backyard, the windmill farm. And over there, well, I'll show you what's over there. That's going to be George Washington. That area over there, it's going to be east of the Columbia River, where the Columbia River turns north and heads north. It's going to be the kind of the beginning of the Columbia River Gorge, right? I think. So anyway, we're going to check out the rest of what this trail has to offer.
I'm really glad we went back up the next day. The views were incredible. We also encountered some of the most challenging roads I've driven yet, some of the biggest stretches of large rocks I've navigated, and doing it in the snow. The van handled everything with ease, of course. As we dropped in elevation, the snow gave way to mud, which was almost worse, but still the van performed beautifully. We could only hope it would make it back up the hills if we have to come back out this way. And then, off in the distance, the horizon began to move. One of the largest herds of elk I've ever seen. We slowed and kept our distance so not to disturb them. They seemed pretty skittish of human activity, even at a distance.
Well, we got out of the snow and we got into the mud. And we reached, well, we got pretty close to the end of road. We decided we were going to try and hook onto the Homestead Trail and make our way out that way. You can hear this because the wind is going to be ridiculous. But anyway, it's always a good idea when you're someplace you haven't been before to look at your map really closely. As we were turning onto this little route, we saw a section of road that is dropping down off of a box canyon, and it looked, based on the topographical lines, it looked like it could be really steep. So we stopped here and took a little walk down the road here, and I'm glad we did, because we found a road that's really muddy, really rocky, and really steep. Could we get down it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could get down it. But if we run into something down there and we can't get through, we're not coming back up that. So, yeah, I think this is going to be where we turn around, head back the way we came. At least we know we can make it through that route. So, now we just got to backtrack and retrace our steps.
For a brief moment, I didn't think we were going to be able to back up the hill. Cindy is much happier going forward than backward. As you can see, the hill was pretty steep. Once I got going, I didn't dare stop until I got up to the top.
All right, well, we got turned around. It was challenging, it was a little muddy. And now we're going to head back up into the snow through some of the obstacles that we came down. Now we get to go back up. Couple of parting thoughts about this trip. What did we learn? We learned that sleeping east-west in an Astrovan looks better on paper than it does in reality. While there's enough room for me to lay flat, especially on that thing, trying to build a bed above that cooler, not gonna work. So we gotta go back to the drawing board and redesign that, and rebuild it, and all that. While on the surface that might seem like it's a bad thing, sometimes, as Lisa often says, it's all part of the adventure. That's part of the fun, is learning and you know, failing, finding the shortcomings and overcoming them. And really, that's kind of what overlanding is all about. So I don't feel too bad about this because we learned some stuff.
Yeah.
And now I have more data to pull from when I get ready to start the next design. Some things that I know won't work, and the next design will be better. What was really fun about this trip was we decided to go to an area that neither of us have been to before, explore an area that we really didn't have a lot of time to research, and just go see what was out there. And to me, that's also a part of the fun of overlanding, is go see what's out there. What's around the next corner? What's over the next hill? See what kind of challenges you can overcome. And we've already overcome some challenges. We're going to be trying to re-overcome those challenges going back out. But the van will do just fine. Of that, I have no doubt. So, that's going to do it for this trip. If you like Astro content, or you just think we're pretty cool people, you should go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you've made it this far into this video and you haven't turned it off yet, why don't you give us a like so that other people who might like our content will be able to find it too. Other than that, I guess we'll see you on the next adventure.